I wasn't paying attention to much else as much as I'd paid attention in the last forever, but especially in the last 10 years. I was in survival mode. So it was taking me everything I had just to get healthy and to be able to go back to do what I needed to do at NXT. So with all this stuff happening with AEW, it was whatever anybody else was doing, I was just going, oh, there's another company. Oh, good. It's these lads that I know, and I know them all. I know everybody that I was hearing was going there. Good for them. I know there was some rumblings going on around me, but I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. It's just I've worked for loads of wrestling companies. I've worked,
Sure.
and I've also let's get this out the way. I have been in supposedly many wrestling wars, right? If you go back to the time that I was in England, there was a supposed wrestling war going on in the 80s in England. I don't remember being in any wars. There was one supposedly going on with WWE and WCW in the 90s. I certainly don't remember being in any wars. I know it looks good on documentaries, and it's depending what kind of a person you are. If you buy into the gossip nonsense world of whatever, and that's okay, because that's your perspective of life, you're in a war. It's just another day at work to me. So when I hear about these things, this is what this top topic of this entire subject is supposed to be about. When there's wars going on, there's another company, and okay, I work for this company. I'm going to do the best that I can do for this company that I'm working for, and try and get the talent to be as good as they can be, so they can do better and make more money for themselves. That's my job. My job isn't to gossip or to worry about what's going on in somewhere else, or who's going where, or what. It's good for them that they're getting a living. They're making a living, because that was my job. My job was as a talent to make a living. If you are a professional wrestler, that's what professional means. It means making a living as a wrestler. So it was another thing going on. So I have a very different view of a lot of these things. It was, again, would I have felt any differently if I wasn't going through all these health things? I don't know if I would. But I was dealing with every time I was going home, I was having to just, okay, there was a lot of things went awry in 2018 as far as talent. People that I'd been keeping up with, Sammy Guevara is one of them. Me and Sammy were having a lot of things going on. Like, I've been talking to him for a while, and Ricky Starks is another one. People I'd met, and some of them had done tryouts, and some of them that did, but it wasn't their time, or there wasn't room for them, or I was keeping in touch, like with Sammy, sending it, like calling him, or he was sending me his matches, and I was getting older people. When you start hearing about these wars and that, it's like, oh, right, okay, you want to all get into this. It's another place to work, and it's good for everybody. Have you got any room for Sammy? Whether Sammy knows that or not, I don't know. I think he does, but have you got room for him? And then just trying to, as well as doing all the other 100 people else, I'm trying to, 1,000 people, and then I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And the reason I know that is because last summer, when things changed in WCW, in WWE, and it was, okay, we're not going to be going with independent wrestlers or wrestlers from different places now. I went back and spent the whole summer tidying up things and these are all people that I had huge amounts of stuff and lists of people for every possible situation. Because of doing the tournaments, because of doing all these different things, I